In this video, we're going to talk about, does a tax lien wipe out a mortgage? At the very end of this, you're going to know, by the time we get done, we're going to talk about mortgages, what makes a mortgage happen. We're going to talk about all of these different factors, and you'll know exactly how and why tax deeds are considered one of the best kept secrets on investing in the United States today, bar none. Okay, you're going to love this. And if you stick around for a measly 10 minutes, I got a gift for you. Okay, that'll accelerate your family's financial futures and make sure that your wealth comes pouring from the sky as you walk out the door. Maybe not, but at least it'll be fun. But watch the whole thing and I'll show you how to do it. So, oh, by the way, thumbs up, like, comment, share. That's super important. If you got somebody that says, I told you, you can just say, share this, watch this. This guy's been doing it for 30 years. That's me. I started when I was 10 years old. That's funny. Anyways, so I've been doing it a while. All right, so let's talk about this. Okay, in short, does a tax deed wipe out a mortgage? Yes and no. So let me just walk you through the whole process. First of all, what is a tax deed certificate on a property? A tax deed means that somebody has not been paying the property taxes at a minimum of 4 to 5 years. Okay, so what that means is, like, let's just take the state of California. It's 5 years. I'm just using that as an example. If a property owner hasn't been paying their property taxes for 5 years, they've been sending notifications, come pay, come pay, come pay. No, I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm just surfing, whatever. Okay, they say, okay, well, now we need to do something because the county needs this money. What does the county need this money for? Number one, schools. Then you've got fire department, police department, hospitals, parks, recs, all sorts of different goofy things that they have out there. It requires the counties to run this. Okay, and make it as beautiful as it is. And so what they say is, we need this money. This is our mechanism. This has been around for longer than we've been the United States of America. This is the only way the counties get their money. They say after that point in California, we have the right to sell the property for the delinquent property taxes. Okay, they've already been late 5 years. Listen, if you and I weren't willing to do this, then guess what? The county would have to go in there and foreclose immediately and wouldn't even wait the 5 years. There's a whole mechanism behind this. So they say, bring it up for sale. So I go in there and I get ready for the sale. But when I'm getting ready for the sale, I'm looking at this property. Again, let's just make something up. Let's say it's a $500,000 properties and there's $20,000 in back taxes on this property. Just, don't argue with me on the numbers, okay? So what happens is I go, okay, here's a $500,000 property. It hasn't been paying these $20,000 in property taxes. Are there any liens and encumbrances on this property? Oh, yep, there's a mortgage, there's a second mortgage, and let's just make something up. Let's say an IRS lien. Everybody gets freaked out about those. Okay, so I go, yeah, and is the county notifying all these people? Yeah, they're notifying all of these people. Okay, we're good to go. As long as they've been notified duly and legally the way the county requires, if they don't come in the prescribed amount of time to protect their position is no longer valid on the property. There is no gray area here. There's not oh but, there's not if any, none of those things happen. If somebody fails to pay off their property taxes due to delinquent property taxes and the petitioner files a foreclosure, they have the right to foreclose and will wipe out and extinguish all liens and encumbrances, including a mortgage. It doesn't say including or anybody, but even the IRS. And the IRS has to get notified like everybody else. But I want you to understand this, and let's just go back in time. Okay, who actually controls title on a property? Think about this. Who controls in every place in the United States? Ultimately, it's the county. So the county's going, look, this is the only thing we have. We can't print money. We're not the Federal Reserve going, just print some more, don't worry about it. We can't raise rates. We can't all this stuff. The only thing we got is, we got this property that you owe us taxes on it. So you can't sell it. You can't refinance. You can't get a divorce. You can't do anything until somebody pays us. Don't care who it is. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, IRS, doesn't matter who it is. They have to pay those. But again, I'm just not mixing any words on this. If you fail to pay property taxes on a property and somebody buys that and they foreclose, those liens and encumbrances are wiped out. Now, I want to explain wiped out. That doesn't mean the property owner doesn't owe those anymore. The property is no longer the asset that's controlling that, okay? So in other words, that's not the leverage. If they want their money back, they can't come after the property. It's not tied to the property anymore. This is important. So let's just go through the whole process. First of all, about half of the states out there offer tax deed certificates. I use California as an example because it's very cut and dry. It's 5. I've never bought tax deeds in California. And kind of the saying goes, if you want to go duck hunting, you go where the ducks are. There are over 500 tax deed sales going on every single month, and they ain't in California, okay? So what you do is when you find a tax deed sale, okay, you're gonna have to do research on this property because you want this property, okay? If you put the money up, you're gonna own the property. It better be what you want. So number one, I would stick with single family residential properties when you're first getting started because you know what those are. Single family residential house, okay, number one. I wanna check the value. Okay, is this property worth $300,000 or could it be worth $300,000? And if it's not worth $300,000, what's it going to take to get it up to that value? Now again, there's not some county person with the keys go look around, see what the deal is. You got to drive by and go, oh, I hope they don't have 27 cats. I hope that, come on. You're not going to be able to look in there. That's why you have to be sensitive about the bid. So if I've got a property that's worth $300,000, and let's say the opening bid is $10,000, I don't go, how much over 10 am I willing to go? I go, how much below 3 am I willing to buy it for? It's a better way to look at it. So let's just say I look at it and it's pretty obvious this thing's rough. Maybe it's got some people in it, but there's toys all out front, no grass, a couple screens are falling this way. You're probably in for a major rehab on that property. So you're looking at the property at about $25 a square foot in rehab. Just a complete grabbing it out of the air. I'm looking at this property, it's a couple thousand. Okay, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to spend about $40,000, $50,000 to make this right. So I'm gonna go, okay, well, I'm not gonna pay over $250,000 for the property, but I need some profit in it for myself. Look, if I can get this property for $100,000, $150,000 and I had to drop $50,000, I still got $100,000 in profit. Keep up with me on this. Okay, so you get it. Doesn't mean I'm gonna pay that much for it, but what am I willing to pay for this property so I'm competitive? Number one. Number two is, at these sales, how do they take their money? Do they have a cashier's check? Can I wire the money? Can I do an ACH change? There's all sorts of things that you're looking at on this particular deal on there, so that's what you wanna know. How do they accept their money? That's very important. When is the sale held? Where is the sale held? And just as importantly, just as all of those things is, when does the list come out? Now, typically the list for those property tax deeds is not going to come out any sooner than 30 days prior. Don't do a bunch of research in the beginning because let's say there's 50 deeds on this list. They're going to start, these people are losing their property. Okay, they're being notified left and right. So that might go from 50 to 45 to 35 to 20 to 15. So you did research on a bunch of properties that didn't even go to sale. So make sure you just get your information, get all your ducks in a row when you go, and you make sure that you don't do research on it. The last week is where the hustle starts. You start making that happen, and you definitely want to see these properties. Boots on the ground, or somebody's going to be looking at these properties so you can make that happen, okay? Listen, I'm running out of time, but there's a lot I think you need to do out there, okay? The great news is you've made it this far. I've offered you a free gift. I've got a brand new course that I'm willing to give you. That's right, I'm gonna give it to you. This goes from A to Z, everything you need to know about tax liens and tax deeds and how to get prepared for all this so you and your family can find financial independence. Just go to the link down below or go to higginsmethod.com. higginsmethod.com. This is Saen Higgins saying God bless and good luck.